Hello dear people, this is Dol. I'm here in Utrecht, Netherlands. Take a look at this beautiful canals, like this old village, that old city that turned into a kind of like a tourist city. Today I'm gonna talk to you about being in a liquid state. So I'm in a liquid state right now as of doing this video, and I'm in a little liquid state. I've been in one that is quite bigger, and I wanted to share with you what is a liquid state, how does it look like, and why liquid states are so important for us to grow as human beings. So I'm gonna share some stories in this video, I'm gonna share some legends, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I was going through in my big liquid state, and I'll show you around a little bit. I have some shots like this where I just show you around. So if you're ready for this little walk, let's start. Alright, so one of the best ways to describe a liquid state is like someone pulled the rug underneath your feet. You're standing on top of something, and these people are smiling at me. So you were standing on something, and what was this rug that you were standing on? Was probably your perception of life, your current intellectual understanding of life, your conclusions, your opinions, your stories about yourself, your ideas. You had all of that underneath you, and then someone pulled this under you. So probably in your life it happened to you where you can remember that someone said something, or you've been in this workshop, or something happened and you completely got out of what you were. How did you came before that? Like you came one way, now you're this different person, but there, between you and this new person, there is a space in the middle where you don't know. There is a liquidity, like the box, that part of you that is made out of all these ideas and stories and beliefs and got liquefied. And in that space, that's where you are right now, in this liquid state. She wanted to be in this. So in this liquid state, you don't know, and that's actually the time for you to transform. That's the time where you don't try to get back to this old you so fast. And can you hear the bells from this huge tower? So if you were like me in most of your life, when something like this happened to you, quickly all you try to do is to go back to the old thing that you know. Because being in a liquid state is kind of scary. It's like, whoa, what is going on? I thought I knew who I am, where I'm standing, what's my purpose here. But now everything is different and it's scary. So there is a part of us that gets scared, and we try to go back to the old self, like to the old thing that we were before that. That's what most people are trying to do. If you want to take an extreme example of this, imagine someone that was smoking and got lung cancer, and then he was he had this surgery to get the, not lung cancer, like he had, his velvets are clogged, and he had this surgery to remove that, like to take away the damage that was done by smoking. And now he's finished the surgery, and after 2 weeks he's going back to smoking. So he went back to the old thing. So a lot of time we're going back to taking a few steps back, and that's also okay. It's not, this video is not about being wrong or being right, or there's no such thing for me actually. So that's what happens to us. We go into a liquid state because of something, and then we have the possibility to go back to the old thing. Usually we do it unconsciously, just go back to the old thing, or we have a chance to go to the something new. With the same example with this person that got his surgery, can now decide to live more healthy and to change the way he treats his body. And if he decided to do that, something in his belief, his perception of the world, the way he lives is going to change, and then now he's a different person, and now the world can treat him in a different way. Another way of describing this liquid state, and to help you understand what I'm talking about, is to imagine, if I'll ask you this question, how do you create, let's say you have a gold, now you have a couple of coins or a couple of euros, and it's not made of gold, but let's say you have some coins made out of gold and you want to create something else. What do? If you want to create from this gold, you want to create something else. That's right, you melt them. You need to melt the coins in order to make the gold something else. So how do you do it? You melt the coins, then you put it in a certain other shape. The gold takes the new shape, and now from coins you have the shape of an angel or something like that. So that's liquid state, basically. Your box, the way who you are, now melted. Okay, so if you can already remember, if it ever happened to you, the experiment to do here is to try to be with this liquid state as much as possible. To go with this liquid state. I'll tell you a little story. I was just here in Utrecht, in Netherlands, and I asked for an emotional healing process about a stuck emotion I have. If you don't know yet what is an emotional healing process, you can check out my other video on YouTube, what is an emotional healing process. So in other words, I had a stuck emotion in me, and someone held space for me for this process, and I started to feel all this stuck emotion that I have, and it brought a lot of awareness and things from the past, and it brought a lot of liquidity, a lot of this liquid state. And I was walking around like this, like I'm in this liquid state. And for a while everything was different. I had this old stuck emotion that are now, once I felt them, once I allowed myself to feel this sadness or this anger, this fear or joy that was there, stuck for a long time, I got into this liquid state because it was big. It was a big intensity of emotions in the healing processes that I do, because I do them for a while. I let myself feel the emotions very powerfully, and the more I go into this emotion and the more I heal old stuff that is stuck in me, there is bigger liquid state. So I was walking here in this path, and man, I was liquid. You can imagine, even my face now is not that liquid because there's more of a survival strategy that I'm putting around me because I'm doing a video which is very unusual in this scenery here. And I'm gonna walk a little bit down to show you the canals. So doing a video in this scenery is very unusual. So I'm using a lot of like my defense system. So it's even hard for me to show you how much I was liquid back then. I'm also a little bit less liquid than I was now after integrating this whole process for a few days. But I was walking, really, whatever I knew about the world was gone, and I was like this, and people are looking at me because people are, if you look around, people are, especially here in the Netherlands, people are kind of expect you to be very nice. It's like social politeness. Yeah, that's a culture here. So it was very unusual to see someone that is liquid, that he doesn't have his survival game on. And every interaction I had when I was liquid was totally different than the interaction that I had in before that. So before that I had a certain box, like when I talk to people, there is, okay, I'm this guy, this is what I'm doing here, this is my thing that I'm doing, this whole shebang, this whole show. And then once this liquid state happened, this layer got removed, and then the interactions were very different. So what am I trying to tell you about the liquid state? That is, what is the purpose of it? Once you change the shape of the way you were before, you change the shape of the box, then the world can treat you differently. Imagine that you started with a box that is like this, square, then it got melted, now you assemble it in a different way, consciously or unconsciously. Actually, one of my discoveries in this was that I can consciously assimilate my box. It usually happened unconsciously, so it just got a certain shape, but now this time I kind of started to think, how do I want to assemble my box now? Am I going to assemble it the old way? Of course not, because why did I just do all this journey? I only did it because I wanted to change. So I didn't do all this work for nothing. So, but how do I want to assemble my box? Like what kind of being I want to be? What kind of human I want to be? So let's say I assemble it this time like this. Now the world has a different way of interacting with me. Now there's new possibilities. Something different is possible because I changed who I am. Before that, only the same result could come. Because if you're one way, there's certain kind of result you can get. A lot of people, they try to change the results without changing themselves. They're trying to do the same thing and get different results. But that is just madness. If you want to change the results you're getting, you need to change what you do. But what you do is just an expression of who you are, right? So how do you change who you are? You go into a liquid state. Now this here is the biggest problem in modern culture, in our society. We were taught to do anything except going into a liquid state. Just consider this for a minute. Think about your life. Everything from school, your parents, education, academy, university, blah blah blah, whatever you've been, everything was built so you wouldn't go into a liquid state, that your box wouldn't melt. For example, you got grades. You had a test, you got grades. Because if there was no grades, what would happen? You start to feel something. You start to do something and then feel the real reaction of the world. But instead, when you get grades, you can put it in your box, in the stories of like, I'm good plus, I'm positive, I'm negative. So even when you got grades, let's say you got a bad grade, quote unquote, and you went to your friend and you told him, I got a shitty grade, in the test. What your friend is gonna do? Your friend is gonna tell you, don't worry, everything is gonna go okay, you're gonna succeed next time, you're a great student. Or he's gonna tell you something like, you always fuck up, you're like a shitty shitty student. Or he's gonna just do something else, like just don't care, just go into his own business. So there's all these ways that we're trained to react to our friends, to people around us, so they won't go liquid. So in this example, what happened if I tell your friend, his friend, he would tell me, oh, I got a shitty grade in the test, and I will ask him, how do you feel about it? And he would be probably, what do you mean what I feel about it? I'm nervous, I'm annoyed, or I feel bad. I was like, and then I'm gonna be like, what do you mean you feel bad? What feeling is that? You feel sad, you're angry, you feel glad, you have fear that you're not gonna pass the new test. What do you mean I feel bad? And then he's gonna be, yeah, I feel sad that I got a shitty grade, now I need to learn again. And I would be like, you feel sad because you got a shitty grade and now you need to study again. And then he would be like, yes. And then he's like, it hits you, the feeling. Now he feels. And when you feel, your emotions and your feelings came here to tell you to shift something, to do something, to go somewhere, to navigate, to feel something. That's what your feelings are for. So every time you let yourself feel, what happens? You go into a liquid state. Every time you go into a liquid state, what happens? You transform, and something else is possible. So our society is built to be nice, to be polite, to do everything correct in the right way, in the structured way, to take care of our career, to take care of school, to have a good job. When we go somewhere, to not do anything crazy, not do anything outside the box, to manage risk, manage everything that can cause us to be liquid. But that's only part of us. Like, that's maybe how the society is built so far, modern culture, or that's maybe the way we grew up, but it's just so far. Now, if you think about it, a lot of the things that we do are meant to not be liquid. For example, if you go into a yoga class and that's your first time doing a yoga class, that's gonna get you liquid. That's gonna be, whoa, now my body, I can work on my physical body and my energetic body. Whoa, there's such a thing, an energetic body. So there's something is gonna change. But if you go to do yoga every week or every day, it's the same, that's your routine, that's what you do. I do yoga, yeah, and just go do the motion, not think about it. That might have an energetic effect or a physical effect on you, but not certainly get you in a liquid state. And why do you even want a liquid state? Maybe you don't want a liquid state. Maybe you don't want to transform. Not everyone here to do transformation in life. It's not bad, it's not wrong, it's not good either to transform. It's not good, it's not like, I'm a great person, I transform. It's not this, like, don't do it if you're trying to be better or something like that. Which is another form, by the way, of not being liquid, trying to be better all the time, trying to self-development, self-improve yourself. Because then you know, okay, I'm on the right, I'm getting good grades. It's like the same like getting good grades. I don't know where I'm going right now. I'm kind of liquid. I'm liquid about where I'm going. Maybe there's a little alley here, maybe I'll go there. I don't know what to say right now. Just coming up to me and I say it. Because I'm liquid. This experiment of trying to operate not from your box, not the way you're used to do things, not the way you like to do things, just from another place. Experiment with this, see what happens. It might change your life. So going back to the train of thought that I started before, you can go to a yoga class and just not change or not go liquid. But the problem is where I see people today do go to places that they're supposed to get liquid. For example, I don't know, like breathing work. It's like this breathing, this like removing layers of something, like this like rebreathing. What else it's called? Like I'll probably put all the names here that I hear in day-to-days that I think people go to this, but there's no distinction about liquidness. There's no distinction about a nice Dutch street with a full length of a bicycle trail. So people go to this workshop, yeah? And there's no distinction about being liquid. So what happens? It's either people get liquid or they don't get liquid. But let's say they do, they get liquid, but there's no process. There's no one to hold space for their conscious feeling, conscious emotion. Like, what do you feel? Like I see it a lot in festivals, like you go to do this huge festival workshop with like 1,000 people. And then there is you breathe or whatever you do, 4-element stuff. And then, but maximum like some person like this therapist or something come and touch you or something. But you don't really get to to process what you feel. Like, I feel sad because of this, I feel angry because of that. Or maybe it's something else, but you don't really get to process it, and the workshop ends and you get liquid, but you didn't got the process, you didn't got the experiment, you didn't got the tools to do something else after this, so to build some other kind of box. You didn't got the distinctions. When I say tools, I mean distinctions. Like the difference between just being angry to be unconsciously angry or consciously angry. This is a distinction, like distinct between those two things. So when you don't get it, how can your box change? It's just gonna go to the same thing. So you go into this ecstatic dance and you feel something shift because your body wants to talk and all these big emotions coming up. But then it's finished and you just go home, you're liquid, probably more energetic than emotionally. Or this workshop of like breathing, and then you don't end up to shift, you don't end up to transform and grow and evolve. So the whole purpose of going into a liquid state is to evolve, because that's how you evolve, you go into a liquid state. So what I encourage you to do is to check with the people that hold space for whatever transformation you're doing, that are actually aware of a liquid state, and they can give you distinction to grow from. So if you take two things from this workshop video, is one, experiment with going into a liquid state. Like really experiment with going there. Even if it's in the street, you can go and do something that you're not used to do, like do a video in the middle of the street, or I don't know, do something that you never do. Talk to a stranger. Jump into a puddle. Go in a way that you never walked before. Change the clothes that you used to wear. Start doing something different. That's gonna get you in a liquid state, and then stay in that liquid state as much as possible. Especially after a workshop or something like that. Feel how it feels to do something different, to not be you, to have a different story, a different opinion, to change your mind. Nobody holds you to that. You can just experiment with that. It's not a belief, not something you should believe or create a new belief. And the second thing, that after you go on a liquid state, get distinction, get taught where, the new way to think, get the next way to think about get the next way how to think, get the next way how to be, get the next team. What is the next thing that's going to bring you to the next thing? I feel sad because I see a lot of people waste. What is waste? It's not about wasting. It's about, like, they're young and they have so much energies and they put in all of it in like the academy because they were told that this is what you do. It's like, this is how I'm going to secure my future. I'm going to secure money. And they're like putting themselves in this aquarium where I know because I did that, right? I'm talking about other people. Like, I was there in that aquarium. But that's actually how my journey started. That's where, in university, where I start to look for something else, like different answers. So I watch all these YouTubes, self-development YouTubes. And I bought these online programs and I went to a coach like this, and like a self-development coach. And I kept discovering, kept searching until I started working with clients and I realized that something is missing. I realized that in my work with my clients, I cannot go to the emotional body. I didn't know what it was yet. And then I realized it's the emotional body that has the actual liquid state that people can change from. So I'm sad because I see, like myself, people are going to university and spend all this time in academy, or even like now, even like coaching became like an academy thing. Like I see people on Facebook writing, where can I get the 2 years certificate for coaching in this school? It's like, what school can tell you you're a coach? Like, what validation are you looking for that someone will give you to do something? It's like, what else do you need a degree for before you start doing it? And it's like, I have this story that there's so many people that need a coach. Like, look, there's a war in Ukraine. There's so many people that probably have traumatized. And there's all over the world people that need coaches. Probably you can think about 5 people that you know that needs a coach. And people go to do a 2 years test, like study to be a coach. Like, what the fuck? It's like, what do you need? Do you need tools of how to hold space for people to share what they feel, their emotions? So what you want is actually to go in a liquid state. You want to learn how to be in a liquid state yourself, so you can get people through liquid state so they can transform. So, I don't know, that's where this video went. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a little bit liquid from this. See you next time.